Continuing on with our induction series of videos. In the last video I mentioned that the response to the assessment question here, it'd be a good idea to format this in the way of an actual report. So here's actually some of how I might answer it as super student Kim, and so this isn't the actual answer, but it's just me doing some rough work for it. So in a report, it's good to give some sort of introduction or describe the purpose of the report. So there's some information here that I've included just as that bit of an introduction, and then after I've done that, I'll then define the sort of information that I think needs to go in this report based on what the question has asked. Now, once again, after you've actually done your reading and study and note-taking, there's no way you could answer this, but after you have done the reading and study, these points I've made here will actually make a lot of sense. So from my reading, I suspect that these following bullet points that we have here are what I need to include within my report. So my report needs to show that I can clearly identify markets and the needs of those markets. I need to show that I know the importance of collecting and analyzing appropriate information, that I know how to identify the customer and understand the customer. And I've put a couple of keywords there, demographics and psychographics. And I'll also need to show that I've got some sort of change management process. So when my fickle customers' needs change, I've at least got something waiting in the wings to accommodate for that change. So how do I possibly know all that? I know that because I went through my prescribed reading. So I'll let you in on some information there. With that particular reading that I had to do there, that was covered in the first 21 pages. If we can just come back here for a second. So that was actually covered in these first 21 pages. I will be gathering my answers from page 1 through to page 21. Okay, that's the information that's contained with those first 21 answers is going to assist me with my answer, and it's where I came up with these headings from. So with these 5 major points, I'll take a bit of a guess too, saying that this is going to be at least a minimum 5-page response that I do, 1 page for each one of those major points there. Each one of those major points may cover several pages of reading, so some will be longer, some will be shorter. Now, the idea here is not to just go through and start to provide a brief summary of page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. That does not respond to what the question is. It might show that I know how to take notes of the website, but I haven't responded to the question. So I need to actually gather that information from those 21 pages and put it back together in such a way that will respond to the question. And again, I'll do it under these 5 headings that I've put together. You might come up with a different set of headings, but what I've got there, I'm imagining, will be pretty close. Now, one key point here as well is I haven't even mentioned the textbook at this stage. So with your enrollment, not only do you have access to the e-learning site, but you'll also have access to a fairly comprehensive student textbook. So for this one here, I just had a quick look through my textbook index, and I reminded myself that the unit I'm doing is called Manage Quality Customer Service. When I had a look through the table of contents of the textbook, I found that Chapter 14 was one called Manage and Monitor Customer Service, and to me that seemed to be a pretty logical match. Now, it's certainly not going to be a one-to-one representation of what's on the website, and that's not what the textbook is for. The textbook is supplemental information, and when you use the information in the textbook and the information on the website, it means that your knowledge is going to be fantastic, and the answers that you provide as responses to the assessment questions will be great as well. So I would now go on my way and start to type up this multi-page document, and you know that will take me a couple of hours, I'd imagine. So, and that's not to be sneezed at, but this is a very big question. They're not normally this long. So that's where I'd go ahead. I'll now actually explain how I might deal with a shorter question, which is perhaps the more common style of question, in the next video.